It's that time of year again. It's time to fail. Let's predict the NFL playoffs. Yep, let's do it again. Why not? I have never gotten one of these rights before. Maybe I'll stop not picking the Chiefs this year because, I mean, god dang, they just keep winning. It's weird. But let's see how it goes. And starting on Saturday. So yes, it all starts on Saturday. It starts with the Chargers against the Texans in what could actually be a good game. Last time LA was in the playoffs, they had a 27-0 lead heading into halftime. Well, they blew it on a walk-off field goal against the Jags. Yeah, the Jags. They come in with an 11-6 record, which is vastly improved from their 5-12 record a year ago, and that is in large part to Jim Harbaugh. In his 4 years of coaching the San Francisco 49ers, he took them to 4 conference championships and a Super Bowl. That's pretty good. The Texans are also pretty good. They come in 10-6, and with second-year head coach DeMeco Ryans and second-year starter CJ Stroud, and they've been a pretty good tandem up until this point. The thing with the Texans is that their defense is really good. You have Danielle Hunter, you have Will Anderson, Derek Stingley in the back, and another cast of great players on defense. This is a good defense, like good. The problem is the offense. It's been inconsistent. Stroud he hasn't exactly been great this year, but he's been good. Joe Mixon has really helped their run game. Nico Collins has had another great year, but I think missing Tank Dell has been an issue thus far, and I think it could be an issue in this game. Luckily for them, the Chargers offense has also been wildly inconsistent. They've had really good games and they've had like nothing, and these last few weeks had not instilled anything with the Chargers offense in mind. But that Herbert McConkey connection is one you should watch out for. The defense is pretty good for the Chargers. It's not amazing, but they've done well with what they've had. They've had their injuries, so they've done well for what they've had. The Chargers offense doesn't disappear in the second half, and the defense can keep CJ Stroud at bay with the Houston offense. I think they have a pretty good chance here, and honestly, I think I'm just gonna go with Jim Harbaugh on this one. Let's pick the Los Angeles Chargers. Almost said San Diego, it's been so long. Moving to the second game on Saturday, the Steelers head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, who are the second seed in the AFC. And Baltimore has been absolutely running into the playoffs with Lamar Jackson putting up MVP-like numbers in December. He's been phenomenal. That team steamrolled Houston in Christmas. They've been steamrolling opponents. They kind of did this last year though, so I wouldn't take it too much into it, but when they are on, they are on. The defense has also been really good. They made some switches in the secondary, which somehow vastly improved that defense. So the Baltimore is really just been so good, and they look like real contenders against a team that nearly actually took the division from them. The Steelers have been really interesting this year because they started with Justin Fields the first 3 games. He went 3-0. Fantastic. Russ comes in, took over, and just continued the trend. Problem was that they fell apart in the second half of the NFL season, so they're kind of bumbling into the playoffs. TJ Watt is definitely nursing something, and the defense hasn't exactly been that good. George Pickens, he's the lifeblood of this Steelers offense. If he's not showing up, that offense isn't showing up. It runs through George Pickens, and he's been non-existent the last couple days. So I would be a little worried about that. Yeah, this is a pretty easy one. Baltimore should win this game. Moving on to Sunday in the last AFC game of the wild card weekend, it's the Broncos heading to Buffalo to take on the Bills, and it's the first time the Broncos have been in the playoffs since 2015, where they won Super Bowl 50 with Peyton Manning, and now they have a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. And he's actually been pretty good this year. He's got Sean Payton at the helm. I think this is a good match for them. Bo Nix has had a good year. He's not the rookie of the year, but he's had a, good game. Their problem is 3-and-outs. There's a lot of 3-and-outs on that Denver Broncos offense, so that is something they'll need to overcome if they want to have any shot in heck to win this game. The defense has actually held together pretty well, and they lost some players. They lost Alex Singleton, one of their leaders on the linebacking core, but they've stumbled recently. They haven't exactly been good, but they have a good defense, a good nucleus, but if they want any chance, the defense has to be good. The offense has to eliminate 3 and outs, but the defense has to be really good if they want any chance to beat Buffalo here. The Bills, on the other hand, have had a downright great year. This is actually looking like a true Bills team. Josh Allen has played like an MVP. I am not picking one of them. I'm not getting into that debate. He's been good. So is Lamar Jackson. I'm not choosing an MVP here, but he's really been putting up MVP numbers all season long. And that offense just continues going. They can score with the best of them. If this game gets into a shootout, if any game gets into a shootout, the Bills can play with them. Josh Allen can keep this team going, this offense continuing to score points. If there's a shootout, the Bills have a good chance of winning the game. The small issue with them, they don't have a ton of issues. It's the defense. It's those third down defenses. They need to be able to stop drives, maybe not necessarily against the Denver Broncos, but going forward and against these AFC teams, they're gonna need to get third down stops. And that's gonna be key for the Buffalo defense. Other than that, I don't really see much here. It's gonna be the Bills. Now finally to the NFC side of the wild card weekend. The first game will be the Packers against the Eagles, who have played once before, but this will be their first matchup in North America. Their first game was in week 1 where the Eagles took it in São Paulo, Brazil. It was a game. It was a choice. The field wasn't exactly good, but this matchup right here in Philadelphia will be an interesting one. The Eagles, being the second seed in the NFC, have had a really great year. They probably have the most well-rounded roster in the NFL, and it's been so nice to see, like, Saquon Barkley finally is running the ball with a competent offensive line, and you can really see what he does. He's been the best running back in the season, and if he can continue going, the Eagles have a chance to do great things. One problem is Jalen Hurts. He's currently in concussion protocol as of this recording. It's looking like he's going to play based on what I've seen, but I mean, I'm not taking that too much into it, but he should play. But as of right now, he is specifically not said he's going to play, and that could be an issue for Philadelphia. Maybe not here, but down the road. The Packers, on the other hand, do have a good team. They're an 11-win team, and they're the 7th seed because of that hilarious division that they have. Jordan Love has been pretty inconsistent this year. I would know. He was my fantasy quarterback. There's a lot of interceptions there, but he did clean them up near the end and has had he's rounded out his game. He's looked better in the second half of the season, but in week 18 he did get hurt. They're saying it hit his funny bone, had some numbness. Should play. There's nothing that's saying he won't play, but they won't have Christian Watson for the rest of the playoffs, and that is a huge blow to this Packers offense. And that could be a problem for them, as this Eagles defense is just so good at getting to the quarterback. I think he'll be after Love all game. We'll see how much he can do. Josh Jacobs has been good for the Packers this year, but it's going to be tough for Jordan Love. I do think the Eagles are going to win this game, but I don't think it's as easy as people think. The second game in the NFC wild card is the Bucs against the Commanders. Washington's back in the playoffs for the first time since 2020, where they played these same Buccaneers. Weird. It's not much of a race in the Rookie of the Year marathon. Jaden Daniels has been a wonder for these Washington Commanders. The second overall pick has had an amazing season, and he will win Rookie of the Year. That one I'll jump into. And he is the lifeblood of this offense as well. First-year head coach for them, Dan Quinn, has had a good year. He's formed a really great defense, and it looks like they should be good for futures. And you know, who says after 1 year? But the Commanders do look pretty good heading into these playoffs. There is a small problem with that defense, though, and it's against the run. They need to be able to stop the run, and they haven't done a great job of it this year thus far. The Bucs, on the other hand, have had an up and down year, finishing 10-7, winning the NFC South, holding off the Atlanta Falcons that probably should have taken the division, but the Bucs, they more than deserve it. Baker Mayfield's had a great year, and they're squeaking into the playoffs. The Bucs offense has been really fun. Baker Mayfield has just come alive since joining these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's really nice to see him playing with Mike Evans, who had another 1,000-yard season, 11. That's insanity. Bucky Irving has had a great year in the running game, which could pose a risk for the Commanders. But honestly, I think it really comes down to QB play. If Baker Mayfield has a shaky start or Jaden Daniels can't play well, this could be dire for either team. I actually don't really know who to pick. This game is such a toss-up, but maybe we could just do a coin flip. Like, why not? Where's my coin? There's my coin. We'll make heads, Commanders, tails will be the Bucks. Let's see. Flip. Put it up. Ooh. It's tails. It's tails. And that means the Bucks are going to win this game. On to the last game in the NFC wildcard and the entire wildcard weekend. It's another playoff Monday Night Football game. Still weird. The Vikings getting the short end of the stick in that aforementioned hilarious division, winning with 14 wins and being the 5th seed. They have been great this year. I remember talking to my friend at the beginning of the season. We had no trust for the Minnesota Vikings. We had nothing. J.J. McCarthy got hurt. Sam Darnold, who, you know, he hasn't exactly been great in his NFL career for this far. Oh yeah, he's been great this year. Oh man, has Sam Darnold been good. This offense has been good with Kevin O'Connell as the head coach. The defense has been insanely good. They had to take away every single game. Every single game. That's insane. How do you do that? Their dances have also been fantastic in with Camp Rock, the High School Musical. Like, this defense has been so fun and so good and so worth it. This Minnesota Vikings team is pretty dang good. The Rams have been good this year. You still got Matt Stafford at the helm. That's still, you know, he's still good. Puka Nacua is having a great year, even though he missed time. The defense has been good, but they've been inconsistent. So has the offense. I mean, they put up 44 points against the Bills, but then the 3 weeks following that game, they have over 44 points combined. A little inconsistent here on the Rams. I don't see much of a game in this one. I mean, the Rams could be a dark horse, I guess, but I think I'm gonna go Minnesota on this one. That brings us to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and we'll start in the AFC, where the Bills will go on and take the Ravens in what will be a fantastic game. Obviously, I've talked about both teams already, and, you know, it could come down to a shootout. But Baltimore's defense has been fantastic, and it's going to have to be Josh Allen to get through this. These are two MVP quarterbacks that are going head-to-head here. It's a really close one. I like Baltimore. Lamar has had a shaky playoff history. He's going to have to shake that off. The problem with the Bills has been the Chiefs in the playoffs. So you have two teams who have kind of bowed out of the playoffs early the last couple of years when they probably shouldn't have. You have two MVP quarterbacks. I think Baltimore's defense is a little better than Buffalo's, but I think that Buffalo they have something with them this year. This one is a complete toss-up. I'm gonna pick the Bills here. I think the Bills have the team to do it this year. But Baltimore, when they're on one, like when they're running and, you know, just a well-oiled machine, they're good. When they steamrolled Houston, like, that was the best of Baltimore. Can they do it against Buffalo? I think they can. I don't know. I'm gonna pick the Bills here. Josh Allen has been a stupid good, and I just think it's gonna continue on. And the Bills will host this game. It'll be in Buffalo. So, yeah, Bills. The other game will be the Chiefs, who got the bye this year with a 15-2 record and the first seed, taking on the Chargers, a divisional matchup in the AFC West. And the Chiefs, this is a weird Chiefs year. Well, all these years that they've been going to the playoffs and winning Super Bowls has been by their defense, being carried by the defense. Steve Spagnuolo has been an amazing defensive coordinator for them. Wouldn't say that's been the case this year. It hasn't been a great defense, and they haven't had a great offense this year. Like, I don't get it. There's something in the water in Kansas City, because they really shouldn't have been 15-2. They won a lot of close games. I don't know, they got some juju on their side here. I don't know what it is. They played the Chargers twice. I thought the Chargers would be one of the teams because when they were undefeated, looking at the schedule, I thought the Chargers were going to be that team. They weren't. So they lost both times. Again, Jim Harbaugh is a different animal in these playoffs, but I think the Chiefs are just too much. You know, Chargers going to Kansas City, having to play in Arrowhead. I think that's just, you know, it's one of those games that you have to go through to get past it. So the Chargers in the future might be okay, but I don't think the Chargers are going to win this one. Like, the Chiefs aren't that good this year. Like, it's insane. Like, they're just not that good this year. But, you know, they're still probably going to make a real big run for it. So, yeah, no, I'm picking the Chiefs here, but, oh, man, there is some juju over there on the side of Kansas City, Missouri. Jumping over to the NFC side, and it will be the Eagles taking on the Bucks. And again, this is not much of a game, I don't think. Like, I think this game for the Eagles would be a little easier than the Packers game. The Packers were 11-6. The Bucks were 10-7. Like, the Bucks just have been inconsistent this year, like I said. And Baker Mayfield going around that defense, he's gonna have to scramble a lot, which he does very well. And again, this is gonna have to be like a perfect game for the Bucks. Like, they're gonna have to be firing on all cylinders. They're gonna have to be play disciplined, and they're gonna have to protect Baker Mayfield. But I think the Eagles have too much. I think that they are probably, yeah, they're gonna win. It's gonna be the Eagles. Again, I think this might be a little easier for the Eagles than the Packers game. I think once they get through the Packers, I think the Eagles have a real shot to keep on running, but the Bucks won't give them much of a chance. Eagles take this one. The other side is the #1 seed Detroit Lions. Yeah, the Detroit Lions, #1 seed, 15-2. What a season for the guys out of Michigan. Dan Campbell, the coach. They've had a great year. Like, what more does to say? They've had 100 billion injuries on defense, most notably to Aiden Hutchinson, that horrific leg injury. Like, so that was, wow. But they've held it together. They've played well. They've beaten good teams. Detroit is on a tear. They come off destroying, well, I don't know if destroying is the right word, but they beat Minnesota. That game on Sunday night, the last one of the week, that was to decide the #1 seed, and Minnesota did not come up. It was the Detroit Lions dominating. Who are they playing? The Minnesota Vikings in this case, because the 5 seed. You know, Dan Campbell saying to Kevin, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Well, in my bracket, they're at least going to see each other in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think this will be a better game than the Week 18 game. You know, I think once Sam Darnold and Minnesota gets through that first game against the Rams, which again will be a tough one for them, it's going to be tough. I don't think Minnesota wins this game, but you know, it's one of those things, you beat them in the regular season and then it gets to the playoffs, you know, kind of like Oregon and Ohio State, like what the hell happened there? But, you know, it could be different, but they got 3 field goals against Detroit in that game, in a game that meant a lot. So, you know, if Detroit keeps getting healthy on defense, you know, they're only going to get better. They're playing amazing with a bunch of players on IR. The offense is gunning. They're getting David Montgomery back for that game. You know, Sonic and Knuckles going together again. That'll be a good one. I don't see much of a chance here for Minnesota. Detroit will win this game. That brings us to the conference championship games in what? Wow, I did it again. I picked the 1 and 2 seeds and the 1 and 2 seeds. Dang it. Yeah, so we'll start in the AFC. The Bills heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs in, what is this, the 3rd year in a row? It feels like it's been a lot longer, right? This is the game. This is the game. Like, this will be a good one. The Chiefs in December and January are a different breed. They have been terrible, like I've said, all year. But they come in to this conference championship game at home in Arrowhead. Like, this is an exorcism that the Bills are gonna have to do. It's gonna have to be like the Canucks in 2011 against Chicago in Game 7. They exorcise the demons. This is what the Bills are gonna have to do. If they don't do it here, blow it up. Honestly, keep Josh Allen, blow the rest up. Fire everybody. It's not worth it. So the Bills going into Kansas City, this is the make or break game for them. As a franchise, this is a make or break game for Buffalo. But I think they have the chance this year. I said it before. I've said it years in the past. I've yet to pick the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. And I'm not picking them here because the Bills should win this game. They've been so much better than Kansas City. That offense has been better. They play in similar environments. Kansas City and Buffalo are similar, so the cold's not going to affect them. He got bullshitted in that overtime the last time, 2 years ago or whatever. That was garbage. But the Bills, this is their time. This is the chance. Like I said, this is do or die for them. Win this game, you save everybody's jobs. Lose this game, blow it up. There's no point. You haven't beat the Chiefs. This is an exorcism you can't complete. Again, I just don't think the Chiefs have been that good this year. Kelsey's been on the decline. You get Hollywood back, Hollywood Brown, which is, a really good for them. Xavier Worthy has been good for them as well. It's a good offense. The defense has been sputtery, which I think could cause a problem against Buffalo. So yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm picking Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. Honestly, the last time. I'm not doing it again. Buffalo is going to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. Over to the NFC, it'll be the Lions against the Eagles in what should be a great game. And the one problem for Detroit in this game could be the run game of Saquon Barkley. He's probably the key to this game. I don't think they have such a problem in the pass game. Kirby Joseph leading the league in interceptions this year. Jalen Hurts, again, how will he be? He'll be back by then if he doesn't get hurt again. So how will he be in these playoffs? That's a big question, I think. But he's still a really great quarterback. Like I said countless times, their defense is really good. It's hard to run the ball against them. So you have Montgomery and Gibbs. They've been so good, so clever. My one worry about them is the tenacity that Dan Campbell plays with could make them tired or could maybe botch a decision. I don't think that's the case necessarily, but that's the one worry I have with Detroit. But Nick Sirianni is an absolute wild card for Philadelphia. I don't really know. But Detroit, I think Detroit's gonna win this game. Yeah, Detroit's gonna go to the Super Bowl. I mean, they're just on such a roll. I don't see it being stopped. The Eagles are the only team that I think can stop them in the NFC. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won this game, but I think Detroit's gonna win this game. I'm sorry, but this is what I feel like. They've just been on an absolute tear, which means, God, Buffalo versus Detroit in the Super Bowl. Whoa. So yeah, Super Bowl LIX. Shit, I don't remember. 60, no. Oh, it's 59. Shit, next year's Super Bowl 60, huh? Weird. Anyway, we're in New Orleans for the Super Bowl this year in Super Bowl 59. And it'll be the Bills taking on the Detroit Lions. A fun little nuance here. One of these teams will win their first ever Super Bowl. That'll be fun. But a great matchup nonetheless. You have the high-powered Bills offense against the, really high-powered Detroit offense. Two good defenses. Dan Campbell said Aiden Hutchinson, if he were to come back, would be in the Super Bowl. I think that's hard to believe based on the injury that I saw. But hey, if he did come back, boy, that'd be something. Like something. I don't think he will, but man. Two good teams going at it. Man. Who do I pick? I didn't think about this, by the way. Like I have notes up through the wild card. After this, just my mind. The Bills have been really good. The offense has been insane. If Josh Allen can play MVP-like, and that defense can hold up, like I said, their third down defense is a struggle, and Dan Campbell loves to go for it on fourth down. But man, they've been such a wagon this year as Detroit. Shoot. You know what? Yeah, I just think there's been too much of a wagon. The Bills, oh man. Oh, fucking hell, I don't know what to pick. God dang it, I'm not coin flipping the Super Bowl. But yeah, I've like convinced myself on the Bills, but I've also been saying Detroit. Detroit. The Detroit Lions are gonna win the Super Bowl. At least one team one football team named the Lions will actually come through and win a championship this year. It's gotta be Detroit, right? The BC Lions didn't do it. It's gotta be Detroit. The Detroit Lions are gonna win Super Bowl 59. Dang it. Anyway, those are my picks for Super Bowl in the playoff bracket here in 2025, all the way up to Super Bowl 59. I'm sorry to your teams that I picked. It hasn't gone well for me. One day I'll get it right. One year I'll get it right. I don't know if this is the year, but one day I will. Well, have fun watching this year's playoffs. I'm excited, actually. Honestly, look at these games. We did have a lot of good games this year. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, Detroit Lions, they're going to win Super Bowl 59. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you real soon.